So guys, this is a quick video of just actually some of the experiences that I've had this week about dealing with people that are involved in the healthcare system. We had on the 1st of July here, Canada, that's what we celebrate, not the 4th. By the way, did you guys notice an extra amount of fireworks? Just a side note, they started about 4 or 5 days before and have been going since. Even last night at 4 o'clock in the morning, there was fireworks that went on for like a half an hour. I live an hour out of a major city. Anyways, have you guys noticed? So anyways, on the 1st, we had some friends and family out, and one of them, who I don't know, came along, who is a nurse, and she works with palliative care. And she was saying that her hours have gone up. She's working all the time, so it's like a nurse that is totally working right now in the system. And I asked her, she said, oh, there's such a drain on the public system right now. They're just like testing everybody every couple of days in palliative care. And if you don't know what palliative care is, that's the end of the days. That's where people just, you just let them live out their last few days. There's no saving them. These are people that are very old. Their whole systems are gone down. Most of them are not even necessarily awake and can talk to you. They're kind of in coma states or just at the very, very end. They know that. That's why you go into palliative care. That's the end. So that's where she is. And so I asked her, and I says, well, have you had anybody who has tested positive? No, not one person. And she's on the job all the time, not one person, but yet they make them test them about 3 times a week. And they keep on coming up negative. And because anyways, I'm not going to add my opinion there. So anyways, I asked her, well, she said she was working, much harder, like it was just crazy. And I said, well, what about the other hospitals? Like, do you guys have any COVID in your hospital? No, nobody's tested positive. She said, and I asked her, I says, well, what's going on? She goes, well, what they did is they moved all of the people that have emergency kind of thing like that to one hospital in the Edmonton area. I don't know, I think we have 5 or 6 hospitals. Our hospitals service not just like northern Alberta, because they're big hospitals. So it's not just at the Edmonton area, which is under 1 million people, but it's the whole surrounding. So probably about 3 million people these hospitals serve. So what they've done is they've taken all of the patients and they've segregated all of these hospitals. So one deals with this subject, one deals with this one deals with that one. And basically a few of the hospitals are just bloody well empty. There's nothing going on in them. So I asked her, I says, well, so does that mean that there's a whole lot more cases of this virus this year? And she goes, well, actually, no, they're not seeing really anybody, but she doesn't know because they're treating it all in that one hospital. And I asked her, does that make sense though? Like, just because that hospital is busy, considering that they're treating about 3 million people, like surrounding, you would suspect that if you are moving everything, all the acute patients to one hospital that services that many people, that it will be busy and packed and it will be kind of crazy, but the other hospitals aren't. And I asked her, I says, do you know of anybody who actually is tested positive for this? And again, she said no, she hadn't. And she went on to tell me about her, how they had to gear up after each and every time. And, she didn't see what I saw. She just saw that she was working in her section and they didn't have that. But this is what they're saying. They're saying that the people in palliative care are the ones that are dying, and yet she's a palliative care nurse and has not found one positive. Again, I have to remind you that when the Spanish influenza hit, people had to bury their own family members in their backyard because there was not enough room in the graveyards for them. Everybody had somebody who died, and whole families died. They burnt houses down because nobody wanted to go in because the whole family was dead. Again, she knows no one who's been sick, let alone who have died of this. And she's working, with palliative care with people that are supposed to be the ones that are getting affected. She also switches back to just where the elderly people are. And again, there was none. There was no cases. So we have to really put this in perspective where a game is being played on us. We should be seeing deaths all over. We should have family members all over getting sick. But yet we don't. But yet Canada just approved to use our military as a guinea pigs for a Chinese vaccination.
It's a crazy world. Now, Health Canada is now stocking the Chinese military's COVID-19 vaccine for human trials.
CanSino, a biotech company which, like all large corporations operating in the communist state, are controlled in effect by Xi Jinping. They developed this vaccine, 85 NCOV, jointly with the Academy of Military Sciences. That is the highest level research institute for the People's Liberation Army. Think DARPA without any sort of public oversight whatsoever. According to Reuters, CanSino said in a statement that, quote, "The vaccine is currently limited to military use only, and its use cannot be expanded to a broader vaccination range." Well, they went silent when they asked if the inoculation was mandatory or not. So to recap, this vaccine is not proven at all. It's still in testing trial stages, and as with most new tech, it is first being reserved for military use. But with this issue of national security, protecting the People's Liberation Army, Xi Jinping has decided to first test this out on Canadians, and the mainstream media is acting like this is a victory for Canada. Can you believe it? Justin Trudeau's health authority is putting the health and safety of Canadians into the hands of the People's Liberation Army, Xi Jinping himself, the same country that silenced Dr. Li Wenliang, the individual doctor who actually raised the alarm on the Wuhan coronavirus in the first place. He's now dead. But this Chinese corporation is so very trustworthy, Trudeau will tell you. After all, the Chinese government has showered this company in accolades and awards. The Ministry of Science and Technology of the People's Republic of China, the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security, the Overseas Chinese Affairs Office of the State Council. Oh, and don't forget the loyal communist campuses, Peking University and Nankai University, whose charters were actually specifically amended to remove intellectual freedom and replace it with party loyalty. Yeah, that is exactly the kind of company that Canada needs to inoculate our population. A real winner. Military product is on the shelves of Health Canada, ready for randomized, observer-blind dose escalation trials in healthy adults in Canada, courtesy of the Chinese communists.
Most vaccinations take up to 5 years of approval and going through testing. They're just throwing this stuff out. For what? Look, conspiracy people. Look at conspiracy theories. Stop just ignoring it, saying, well, I don't look at conspiracy theories. That was the first thing the nurse said to me. And I said, I don't deal with the conspiracy theories. I deal with documentation and facts. So you have to start looking at the facts. How many people are dying? Why is the government doing this? And why are they doing this? And now they're trying to bring in a vaccination. And if you look at, even the Spanish influenza, the Second World War, the First World War, more soldiers died of the vaccinations than they died in the war. Those poor people are guinea pigs, and they're going to be the first one going. This is a planned population control reduction. And if you don't look at the conspiracies, if you don't look at some of that, you're going to be vulnerable and you're going to play right into it. And you're going to take this vaccination because you think it's going to save your life. And then you're going to think you just got the flu anyways and you died. We have to realize our governments are against us, are against the human race. Have you seen that they aren't? Up until now, have you been pleased with your government, how they deal with taxes, how they deal with the police, how they deal with us, how they mandate things that you know are wrong? They're going after our chickens now. They're going after our farms in Canada. They want to close down our farms because of this imaginary virus. They're going to starve people. And now they're also talking about going after people's backyard chickens and gardens. They want to control everything. They want to vaccinate you. They want to starve you. They want to confine you in your homes. They don't want you out talking to other people. Wake up. Please wake up. Because if you don't, I'm afraid we're doomed. I went in yesterday and there was only one person in the whole store. She got to been 25, 30 maybe, wearing a mask, doing groceries like she was behind the till. And I asked her, I says, are they mandatory in you to wear that mask? Nope. Have you seen the statistics on the people are getting sick because of wearing masks? My boyfriend works inside the hospital. He wears a mask all day. He's fine. Have you looked at the CDC reports or WHO or anything talking about masks and whether you need to do it on your own? Nope. Doesn't matter. I'm wearing a mask. That was the attitude.
Lee Dundas, human rights attorney. We need to ensure the cure is not worse than the disease. Nearly 500 people were recently exposed to a COVID-positive asymptomatic carrier. 0 got sick. Asymptomatic carriers of COVID do not spread disease. That was a study on infectivity of asymptomatic SARS-CoV-2 carriers, May 13th, 2020. The CDC a couple weeks ago did a study where they looked at every single other study in the entire world on face mask wearing. And this is what they found. The CDC found, quote, no reduction in viral transmission with the use of face masks. That was non-pharmaceutical measures in non-healthcare settings, May 2020. There is absolutely 0 point in putting face masks on healthy or asymptomatic carriers. They do not work to stop the virus, and what they do is cut the oxygen hypoxically low. I want to note that within 72 hours of the mandatory mask order going into effect 9 days ago, we had not 1 but 2 people rendered unconscious in Orange County and 2 of your districts requiring Code 3 lights and sirens medical intervention. Let me explain to you what happens when people go down due to loss of oxygen. They don't break their fall by putting a hand out like an average person does when they're headed south. What they do is they drop like a ton of bricks. Their skull hits first. A good case study is the elected Sacramento district attorney. Her son pulled a low back muscle. She went to the doctor. They gave him a shot. He passed out and he dropped so hard, so fast, his skull hit the floor. I quote from the SAC-B, his head slammed full force onto the floor, which was like concrete, the DA said. For a moment, I thought he was dead. He wasn't dead. He had suffered a severe skull fracture, and that left him permanently deaf in one ear. At the time, my son never called me mommy, but when he came to, he was crying, mommy, mommy, I want to go home. We lost 2 people unconscious in the first 3 days. As the temperatures continue to go up, this is only going to increase. There is a simple solution.
Thank you. Your time is up.
A simple solution. We make the order optional, not mandatory, recommended, and then we don't have the liability.
Next speaker, please.
Lee Dundas, attorney, I spoke earlier. I heard a lot of talk in response to your questions by the board about the science and the math. I didn't hear a single appointed health officer, not Chow and not Quick, speak to the 2 studies that are absolutely dispositive on the mask point. The first is the fact that nearly 500 people were not infected. There was 0 infection when they were exposed to somebody who had COVID but was not symptomatic. What we know is that asymptomatic carriers do not and cannot transmit the virus to others. And even if they could, the CDC on its own website came out with a study that said, we looked at all the studies worldwide, and there was no reduction in viral transmission from wearing face masks. Either one of those studies rips apart the order and all of the, frankly, pathetic justifications for that order that came out. I want you, at this point, to close your eyes, since you're probably to that point of wanting to do that anyway. And I want you to picture a TV ad coming out in your district. And that ad opens with a 911 dispatcher call. 911, what's the nature of your emergency? 911. And you hear a screaming, hysterical mother, oh my God, my 4-year-old can't breathe, oh my God. And she is on the floor of the Costco, in front of the doors in, and her 4-year-old child is not breathing. And then it cuts to a clip of me from the May 26th meeting warning that the only studies that are relevant are the fact that wearing masks drops your level of oxygen hypoxically low and precipitates losses of consciousness and fatalities. And then it cuts back to the screaming mother, and you see an off-duty fire guy, EMT in our county, going, ma'am, back up. I need to start CPR on your child. Ma'am, please back up. And then you cut to another film clip where I said last week, with all guns blazing, I am warning you, people will start dropping like flies, and you had best pray that they can be revived. And then you're going to see the OC board and the OC health department, but they didn't take that advice. And then you're going to cut to a final clip of this child being airlifted to some sort of neuro ICU, after which she is pronounced dead.
There is no common sense. There's no thinking. People are not thinking for themselves. Judgment is coming. Judgment is coming down on us. And it is going to be vicious. I pray that you're all strong in your faith. I pray that you're all walking with God and that you walk with the Holy Spirit, because that's the only way you're going to be able to distinguish between false and reality. Because right now we're being told a whole bunch of false stuff to make it so the reality will be to take our lives away. And unless you're walking with the Holy Spirit and you're asking God to guide you and to open your eyes, you will be deceived. Blessings to all of you. I love you all. Talk to you later.